first impression is your lasting impression. And what people don't realize is that elevator pitches, the way you choose to introduce yourself, you have the control to plant exactly how you want to be perceived in someone else's mind. In this video, we're going to cover what makes a good elevator pitch, how to structure your elevator pitches, and some tips and tricks along the way. And if you want more career and productivity tips, don't forget to subscribe. Let's deep dive. Whilst your elevator pitch needs to answer who you are as a person, what you do, what value you bring, a lot of people don't realize that your elevator pitch is kind of the window. You basically want to come across as really intriguing so that the other person wants to find out more. So when you do follow up, they do answer you and they do get back to you, which is why I always say less is more with elevator pitches. 30 to 60 seconds is more than enough. And at the same time, you want to be memorable. They're probably listening to hundreds of elevator pitches. So you need to ask yourself, what is going to make you stand out? It could be your relatability. It could be the humor you bring. It could be just by being damn impressive. But when they think of your name, what are they going to think? What's the first word they're going to think? And that's often the summary of your elevator pitch, and that ends up being part of your personal brand. For some people, it's like passion and the way you come across. For other people, it's the type of work you do. And lastly, a great elevator pitch also has a very clear call to action. You always need to go into conversation, making it really clear to the other person how they can help you, making it really simple, because then they'll be able to always think of you in situations where there's opportunities for you, and they'll always come back to you to connect you to them. That's why with elevator pitches, it's incredibly important that your pitches are tailored to every single individual you're speaking to. And I often have a toolkit of all the different experiences I have in the back of my mind, and I literally pull and plug the most relevant experience, the most relevant information to make sure that I come across as really relatable to the other individual and I connect with them. So let's go through what a great structure looks like. The first thing you should start off with is your name and a hook. And I often start off with, hi, my name is Kajol and I won top 100 women in tech. Now, I know it sounds like you're bragging, but the only time I tell people to brag is in the elevator pitches. If you can name drop anything really impressive, maybe a really prestigious university you went to, maybe you were in the Olympics, or maybe you did something extraordinary, or you have your own business, name drop it right then and there, because it means that the person that you're listening to isn't going to zone out, and you'd be surprised how many people actually just don't pay attention after the first line. So you really want to pull them in and capture their attention using your hook. The second thing you want to do is give some background on what you do. And I like to use this structure being, I help X achieve Y by doing Z. So for example, hi, my name is Kajol. I recently won top 100 women in tech, and I help my FTSE 100 clients increase their revenues by delivering and launching new digital products for them. Now you can see that if you say something along the lines of, hi, my name is Kajol and I'm a consultant, it's a bit shit. It's too generic and I have no clue what you do. So by using the structure I've proposed, you are cascading the value you bring. And what you can see is that I am putting it as a benefit. So I'm not just telling them that this is what I do. I'm telling them that this is how I can benefit the other person who is listening to me as well. I know it's a tad more difficult when you're new to a firm, or maybe you're even looking for a job. Then I would focus on your background. So for instance, hi, my name is Kajol. I've recently graduated from Imperial College London, where I study physics. One big tip is please do not emphasize the place that you sit in, especially if you're looking for projects in different areas. If you say, hi, my name is Kajol and I sit in technology strategy, you already pigeonhole yourself to the other person. So let's say you wanted to look for some more innovation projects or for some digital projects, you probably won't get these opportunities because you've already given your personal brand, the way you've introduced yourself, as a tech strategist, if that makes sense, because you've said where you sit in the firm. The second part of your elevator pitch is building a connection through evidence. And a lot of people say very generic things like, oh, I love the work you do. I'm so excited to hear more about the work you do. That isn't building a connection really to me. You build it by showing evidence. So for me, I always talk about any relevant experience, and I'm stressing relevant here, any relevant experience or projects you've done, which builds that connection, makes it really relatable to that person, makes you feel connected to that person, as in they feel connected to you, and makes you memorable in their heads. So for instance, if I'm talking to a director or a partner who does retail work primarily, I honestly would say something along the lines of, I absolutely love doing retail work, and some of the clients, some of the projects I've worked on, and I'll then list 3 of those clients, 3 to show evidence, and I also talk about the impact I've done, and 1 line in for each of that. That's all I'm asking you to do. But showing evidence is a way you build credibility and make the other person be like, oh shit, they're actually really, really passionate about this industry. So the 4th component of your elevator pitch is your call to action. And I often really subtly reframe my goal. So whatever my hidden intention of that chat or what value that person can bring to me, I make that as my call to action. It could be them being my mentor. It could be them maybe finding a project for me. So for instance, I would say something along the lines of, I'm really interested in digital strategy projects. I'd love to hear about any opportunities where I can support yourself in project work or any extracurricular activities on the side. Note, I'm not saying my goal is to find a project because 1, that comes across really transactional, but also 2, what you're kind of really doing is reframing that actually this is how you can help me, and makes it really clear, make it really specific on that ask. And lastly, close it out really, really positively. And 1 simple line on, so nice to meet you, lovely to meet you. Put that passion and that emphasis behind your voice, because it really does make a difference, and the other person ends up mirroring that as well. And again, it's always about how people feel when they meet you rather than just what you say and what you do. People always remember how you feel. So the more warm you are, the more positive you come across. I'm going to be honest, there are many different ways to structure this. So for instance, if you are trying to sell a product or sell a business idea, I would not take the structure. I would go in more with a story and story tell your way through it. But if you're trying to be really quick, 30 seconds, introduce yourself to a partner or to a manager, the structure is more than good enough. Make sure you don't come across as arrogant. Make sure you're confident but not too arrogant. Make sure you're really clear in how you speak, and also just make sure you don't ask for too much from them. 1 simple ask, really clearly, really specific, and you should ideally get what you want. At the end of the day, think about how you want the other person to feel. Do you want them to feel impressed by you? Do you want them to feel relatable to you? And don't forget, always tailor every single elevator pitch that you do. That was a very quick introduction into elevator pitches. If you want more bite-sized videos like this, don't forget to subscribe and check out these videos. And for now, I will see you next week. Bye.